Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up, Cosmic Crucible Edition. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we have LordRichter's defense, and it is a heavy turtle defense. He's operating on the cusp of Diamond 3 Masters 1, pushing some really tough stuff to get through. Had a lot to talk about beforehand, which brings me to my disclaimer. If you don't like what I have to say, blame Pathfinder Gaming, because he's the one giving me the advice today. Also, my chat was helping me out. A lot of people in there with some great advice, so thank you, chat. If you want to be a part of that conversation, Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, we get together, we talk about these behind the scenes, and then we make these cool videos. All right, team number 1 is the Infinity Watch on defense. Some people like this on offense because they beat a lot of stuff. However, they take a lot of turns to do it. They can sustain really well with their safeguard and immunities and revives and stuff like that. The revives not so much with this Age of X stuff, but they do really well. However, it takes a lot of turns, and if efficiency is the name of the game, then you want them on defense to soak up those opponent turns. And it's really tough to get through. However, they are really good at beating some of the Tangled Web teams, so you may want to consider keeping them for defense. I like this one. We could do some placement changes, but honestly, the things are so minuscule in changing how it plays out, and everybody kind of attacks these things differently. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an A, just fine as it is. Team number 2 is the Young Avengers. Now, here's where we get into some little more tricky stuff. When you put Young Avengers on defense, they are probably going to be beaten quickly and efficiently by a Force plus Doom team. So if you have another team that's going to require Doom, then it's a good thing to run this on defense, because then they have to choose. Do they use a team that takes a lot of turns to beat it? And there's a couple teams that beat this that just takes a lot of turns. Or do they want to use their Doom A-Force team to beat it quick and easy and have that efficient score? Now, LordRichter doesn't have any teams on defense that require Doom as a specific counter, so I think LordRichter should take this off of defense, use it as an offensive team to go into things like Axemen, for instance. I don't know what LordRichter's finding there on the cusp of Masters, but I think that this is going to be easily defeated by an A-Force Doom team and should be pulled. Also, I do not like the placement, and I don't like the ISO of America Chavez. She's 7 red star, but we like her as a striker, getting the double tap and that extra damage there. So let's go Ms. Marvel, and then we can go, I don't know, America Chavez, then Kate Bishop, then Squirrel Girl, and then Echo or something like that. I just don't like having Squirrel Girl off to the side. Like, this is really set up to be annihilated by a Doom plus A-Force team. It's almost like he's baiting them for some reason, but I just don't see anywhere else that a Doom or a Spider Woman is going to be needed for his defense. So for me, there's a lot of things that could be changed. Mostly, I just like to see this replaced with something else, maybe just like a Hero Asgard filler defense or something like that, because I think this is going to be cleanly cut off the list. So I'm going to give it a B-. All right, Spidermania. This is one of the better Tangled Web defense teams you can do. It's Tangled Web plus the Axemen. However, I would like to see Beast change to a Skirmisher, because the AI does not spam the heal button. You don't get the value out of it. It's better to have Bishop getting his double assist all the time. So no matter who gets called for the assist, they're placing the vulnerable there. Also, I'd like to see Jubilee and Spider-Man 99 trade places. That way, when splash damage comes off of Bishop, it goes into Jubilee, hopefully bringing her health bar down past the thresholds, triggering the speed up for Beast. I think she's big enough to tank that kind of damage. Normally, we would keep them apart in the raids and stuff. You don't want them getting clipped off or damaged too much, so you put Kitty or Iceman next to Bishop. But for this one, I think we want Jubilee next to Bishop. Okay, we got great ISOs on everybody else, a really super powerful team, probably the best use of your Tangled Web team right now. I personally am using Tangled Web on offense so I can mirror Tangled Web teams. It's one of the more efficient ways to beat almost any Tangled Web team out there. This one's still a bit tricky if you're going to go into it with a Tangled Web plus Emma or something like that, so you can stun their Spider Weaver. So I'm told this is really tricky to go into, so it's still one of the better ones to use. Personally, like I said, I like my Tangled Web on offense, especially if your Infinity Watch is on defense. You kind of want to have your Tangled Web on offense in case they have a Tangled Web, because Infinity Watch and Tangled Web are some of the best counters to Tangled Web. All right, for me, I think this is an A-. That ISO change and placement change would make a big difference, but this is really good stuff. All right, Latent Power, Age of X, room number 4, we have the Unlimited team. Nothing too exciting here. Let's get a Skirmisher on Rogue and move her to the outside, trade places with Phantom X. That's probably a better spot for her to be. I personally like Gambit to the outside. A lot of people like him in the middle. I don't see any teams that go into this with chain attacks. I don't understand why you need him in the middle going invisible, dividing the team. I think he is a hot target. He's a second or even first person you kind of want to kill, so he's not putting out all that damage, and you have splash damage coming off of him going into the adjacent characters, so that's why I like him to the outside. A lot of people disagree with me, and I think they're low-end players and they don't know what they're talking about. But I'm not going to dock LordRichter for putting him in the middle. It's just a joke. There aren't such a thing as low-end players other than Pathfinder Gaming. Okay, the ISOs on this is fine. A way to make this team tougher is to replace Dazzler with Kingpin. She's a Skirmisher on this for the focus boost. I kind of like her as a Raider, but if you think she needs the focus boost, that's fine. The ISOs here are fine, other than Rogue needing to be a Skirmisher to help overcome some of that Age of X stuff. So placement change, ISO change on Rogue, and I can give it the A. For now, it's getting an A-. Moving on to room number 5, we have the green Gamma team. No Red Hulk here. We're replacing Red Hulk with Luke Cage because Luke Cage is obviously far superior than Red Hulk. That is sarcasm. Luke Cage is a terrible choice to put in here. He taunts. He kind of comes in with a late taunt, gives the team defense up and helps with their sustainability, but he's slower than Molasses in January. I think there's better things to do. We talked about maybe putting in a Black Widow for some speed up on spawn, although she's going to die immediately and then it'd be a 4v5 team, so I'm not sure if that's worth it. You could come in with a pre-taunt tank. A lot of us like to keep our pre-taunt tanks for certain combos going into full Gamma teams, so you may not want to do that. Luke Cage isn't a terrible choice. We just feel like there's some better stuff. Maybe you want to run a big Surfer in here for some damage, maybe laying out that ability block, something like that. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's Luke Cage. I know he's not doing anything in Crucible. That Heroes for Hire is pretty much worthless outside of war defense. So I guess it's a place to put him. I'm not super excited about it. We have 2 healers, 2 strikers, only 1 person putting out vulnerables. So if we could switch She-Hulk to a Skirmisher, I'd be a little bit happier with this team. Then it'd be 2 and 2. Or what we could do is go full healer on the team. I mean, you are putting a lot of taunting tanks in here and defensive heavy. So maybe switch them over to full healer. Go for that extended play where they're using a lot more turns to kill them. So I think this one's, I don't know, it's something to do. You'll see where the Red Hulk is on this next team. But for me, I'm not super excited about it. I'm going to give it a B+. I think Luke Cage is a terrible choice for this one. Here we have, in room 6, Darkhold with Red Hulk. I think we're calling it Red Hold or something lame like that. I don't know. These names, they get out of control these days. We have 4 strikers and 1 skirmisher. You're getting very little value out of your strikers. So we could change Red Hulk to a Raider, possibly a skirmisher. I think Raider's probably the way to go. You could change Doctor Strange to a Raider as well. You'd be getting lots of vulnerables for people to go into. One of those needs to be changed to a Raider, possibly skirmishers, to get some more vulnerables because this isn't working too well. Also, I'd like to see Red Hulk and MLF change positions, putting Red Hulk next to Wong so that when Wong is taunting, splash damage comes off and hits Red Hulk and he gets more charges faster, popping off and doing his thing. Red Hulk is a far superior pick to Scarlet Witch. A much better pick. I think he's a much better pick as well than to Dormammu, especially in this Age of X where the revives aren't really happening for this team. What's going on in this roster, and we talked about this behind the scenes here, is that there are 2 major teams pulling in Unlimited. The Unlimited in room 4, which I believe is right here. This is drawing either Unlimited as a mirror, or it's probably going to get double tapped. It's a really tough team to go up against. And then this one is another team that you're probably going to want to use Unlimited on to single shot this team. So what we're saying is that we're drawing in more stuff than your opponent has, making it really tough to one-shot all of these rooms. In fact, a lot of these defenses are very heavy. So LordRichter's going to have a hard time on offense overcoming the deficit he gave himself. However, his opponent is going to have a miserable time going over some of these just monstrous defensive teams. I think almost every character in his defense has teal gear. So for this team, I'm going to go A- on it. I just want the placement change, and I want, well, you know what? I'm going to have to go B+. There's a lot of ISOs that probably need to be changed, plus that placement swap with MLF and Red Hulk. Overall, this is a monster turtle defense. I think it's pretty well done. I definitely want to see this team removed. I don't think it's adding any value. I think it's going to get clipped off with an A-Force plus Doom really easily, giving them that needed efficiency bonus that they're not going to get for the rest of these teams. I think throwing in something, like I said, like a Hero Asgardian or just even a Black Order, if there's a big Black Order or something, might be the way to go to try and soak up some attacks, because this team, though it is very, very good, has a very clean counter that isn't being needed anywhere else in this lineup. All right, if you like what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos. We have this, the recap, and the stream recycles that come out. I'm trying to get daily content for you guys, keep you entertained. I'm also looking at another couple of videos coming out here in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.